Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. This is You Too Can Be Great. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm worn out. Watching this type of shows, it does wear you out mentally and physically, not to mention I have like 3 different jobs and I'm over here planning a damn wedding ceremony and stuff like that. So I'm exhausted all the damn time. I wasn't gonna do this review because I was gonna take a break on one of the episodes and kind of like, you know what, this is draining. I've read all the 500 some odd comments that people have left me, and some of them have been very disrespectful. Some of them have been very presumptuous. Some of them have had some sense to it because you obviously have your spirit of discernment and you know what's right and what's wrong. So I'm able to read some of the encouraging messages you guys have left for me, and I'm thinking, okay, I can take a break from this, or I can actually continue to talk about this, because maybe talking about this can have certain people in the comments that may want to like maybe look within yourself and learn something about yourself that you may not know. Because from what I see and what I keep seeing, I'm getting the idea that VH1 is putting on this season. I know this is what I thought from the beginning. They're putting us this damn season because they're trying to redeem themselves. Clearly, the viewership has dropped along with my own, because I don't watch VH1, child, I watch YouTube. But the viewership has dropped, and because they're about to lose the show, they're gonna go out of their way to now make us think that what we saw was unreal. Y'all know what's happening with Bachelor Nation right now. They had already replaced the host because of some of the things that he did in the past. They held him accountable. Now they have a new host. Additional to that, The Bachelor had gone through 20 some odd seasons, both male and female, and did not choose anybody black to be a bachelor, as if we don't have black bachelors or bachelorettes, and we don't have people out there looking for partners. It wasn't until recently that people start paying attention and calling to light, this is what you're doing, that people are now just barely starting to act the way they're supposed to act. We still have actors like the lady that was on Mad TV that gave a lot to the network, but they didn't pay her equal pay to all her cast members, but because of her race, her being black. So I feel like me doing this reviews, as annoying as it is for me to watch this damn show, I know that me bringing awareness to it have one of two effects. Either they'll turn that entire show off and say, hey, this is getting out of hand, or they'll make these girls get out of their own way and learn something. Because the way I see it is, next episode, Malaysia ass and Kristen's ass is supposed to go over to Jackie's house, and they're gonna now have this powwow with OG saying that, oh, what she's saying doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense. So if both of us go, maybe we can get her to make sense of it. Bitch, it is not her fault. It's not her fault y'all are too dumb to understand what she's saying or to comprehend it. It is not her fault that you don't know how to pick up a damn book, or you don't know how to go to the damn internet and do research on internalized racism and what colorism and how it manifests and how you act on it. It is not her fault for you not understanding. You don't go to the person who's been treated this way and tell them to try and explain themselves like you're trying to make her sound like the damn villain. Why aren't any of you going up to Evelyn's dumbass and try to find out from her why she said what she said? Why roach is what she calls black folk? Why telling them black folks are dirty? By the way, Malaysia ass is mad at Jackie because she felt like Jackie talked about her kids. Y'all remember what the person online said about Malaysia kid? That person called Malaysia's black kids dirty. Malaysia is mad at Jackie. She felt like Jackie brought it in. But you're not mad at Evelyn for using certain trigger terms when she's talking to people of a certain race. She called Cece Leeling. She called OG a roach. She called Tammy a roach and told Tammy she was dirty. She called Royce a bum. She told Mika that her earrings are bootleg. Black, bootleg, they associate those things. Now she equated OG to a monkey. I'm confused as to why on earth, hush. I'm confused as to why on earth Malaysia is not able to comprehend within herself that the person she needs to be talking to right now is Evelyn. The person Kristen needs to be talking to right now is Evelyn. Ask Evelyn, why is it that when you're upset, that your go-to is to insult somebody based on what their race is? You chose Lily because it's an Asian thing to say to somebody that you feel is Asian. You chose roach, you chose dirty, you chose monkey because it's some insult you feel like is specific to black people. And somebody else in my comment talking about Puerto Ricans are black, Puerto Ricans are black. Yes, I know Puerto Ricans have some black in them, but the majority of Puerto Ricans that I have met, maybe your experiences are different, and maybe some of you are Puerto Ricans, but the ones I have met, and this is my experience, they don't want to be called black. They don't want to be known as black. They want to specifically be called Puerto Rican because they want to make sure that we understand that their skin complexion and their culture and who we are not the same thing. That's why they have that saying when people have that little that bullshit they were saying where they said something like, if you're black, stay back. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, you're mellow. If you're white, you're all right. There's a reason for that. And because they understand that, they don't want to be classified as black. So miss me with that bullshit like, oh, well, we're black too. So Evelyn's Puerto Rican, she's black. Evelyn, up till recently, has been Puerto Rican, or Latina. It's only recently that I've ever heard her say she's Afro-Latina. Did her ass graze a Latin magazine in the front page? I've never seen her do anything Afro-Latina. The only person I've seen that has done something Afro-Latina from this Love and Hip Hop or this Real Housewives or all this Basketball franchise is Amara La Negra. That's it. And she came to the show like that. So fuck you with all that bullshit. I don't want to hear anything you have to say when it comes to that. Now, for me to start reviewing this, we're in season 9, episode 4. Nia and Noria Dorsey join the staycation bullshit. And of course, when they introduce new characters, you already know in the back of your head what bullshit is going to come with these new characters. They have to be tied to somebody. It's not till next episode we find out that one of them is tied to Phoebe, because it seems like one of them was sleeping with Phoebe's man at some point. I don't know what the real story is, because I haven't gotten to that episode, and I'm not out here researching Basketball Wives. It's not that deep to me, but I'm sure we'll find out. Then we start off with Jennifer FaceTiming Kristen, because now that Kristen has showed up, Jennifer is now losing her senses. She says that as a woman with the same color of OG, because Kristen keeps saying that, as a woman with the same color of OG. No, you don't. No, you don't. Let's just be clear and let's clarify that. I don't care what anybody says. I'm watching the screen like everybody else, even with the new girls that just came in. OG is the darkest of any of those groups in that group. She does not have the same skin complexion as Kristen. She doesn't have the same skin complexion as Jennifer. She doesn't have the same skin complexion as Jackie. Yes, Jackie, especially Kristen, have a closer hue to her, but they don't have the same hue. Clearly, anybody that puts OG and Kristen together can see that OG is distinctively darker than her. So Kristen needs to stop saying that bullshit. I don't know if production is paying her extra money to keep saying it, think that if she says it 1,000 times, we're going to now say, oh, well, they're the same skin complexion, and Shawnee and Evelyn are able to deal with her. So I don't know what's wrong with OG. I'm not going for that, so shut the fuck up. Then we have them talking about how it was open-minded for Kristen to go and talk to OG. And I didn't mention this in my last review, but I said, bitch, why? Why did Kristen have to go over there to talk to OG in the first place? There were 2 people in this group I thought would have been reasonable to go and talk to OG. Shawnee could have gone and talked to her because she's supposed to be one of the producers of the damn show. And if she feels like something is going wrong with her show or the series franchise that she's a big part of, she would want to rectify it by talking to one of her technically employees. She didn't do that. Instead, she sent Kristen's ass, whose position in this entire franchise is irrelevant because she's almost new. She's as new as OG's ass. Bitch, you haven't even been in here. You haven't earned your stripes. So I don't understand the concept of her going over there. Number 1. Number 2, Evelyn could also, if there wasn't a lawsuit in place, she could have gone and talked to OG and squared that situation out. But she wants to sue her for defamation, as if her character and her patting her puss and her calling CeCe Leeling and her running down with bamboo sticks, her jumping over tables, her throwing bottles at people, her trying to call people busters, trying to hop onto throwing drinks in people's faces, going off on Susie, the people that she feels like she can bully, as if that's not all enough to go over and defame her damn character. She had to go and sue for this shit. Girl, bye. You have a long list to go ahead and sue for defaming. And all of that, you need to defame yourself. You need to sue your damn self for the way that you have behaved in the past and the present and currently now. Then we have Evelyn bringing Shawnice into what I consider a toxic environment, because right now the situation is, I don't think that, I know Shawnice came there to do like a yoga thing. I don't know the purpose of her bringing Shawnice there. I don't see the purpose of Shawnice even being at that house. I don't understand the motive behind it. She's not a basketball wife. She doesn't need to be in this season. And I just don't get it. To me, I thought that was an extra plug that I didn't need to see. It did bring me back to something, though. I noticed that Evelyn is now going out of her way to call Jackie all the time, because Jackie's on the side of OG and Jackie's complexion is close to OG. This is the same girl that she's mad at. This is what I'm thinking. Evelyn's ass is mad at Jennifer because she feels like Jennifer talked about her daughter, Shawnice, in a bad way when Shawnice is considering her an aunt when they were still friends. They hadn't been friends in years. Evelyn's been talking shit about Jennifer. Hell, she didn't even want her on the show. The season before last, she literally went out of her way to block Jennifer from coming back coming back into the franchise, right? Now she's mad at Jennifer because Jennifer talks some shit about Shawnice. But she's now blowing up Jackie's phone, calling Jackie's phone to make pranks, saying that, Doug is eating her puss, doing all these crazy ass things to Jackie as if they're besties. But Jackie's the one that called your daughter a build a whore. We know for a fact Jackie called your daughter a build a whore because we saw it on national television. She called your daughter a build a whore. You're now cool FaceTiming this girl repeatedly. But Jennifer says she didn't say anything about your daughter. Shawnee is saying she said something about your daughter. Malaysia is saying she said something about your daughter. But Malaysia is also saying that when she said that, y'all weren't friends, y'all weren't cool, y'all were enemies. So she was talking shit about her enemy, right? And that was years ago when she was still venting about you. You're able to smile in Kiki and Jackie's face when she called your daughter a build-a-whore in your face, but somehow you're not able to befriend Jennifer, who you've known a lot longer. This is Evelyn's play. Evelyn is very strategic in the shit that she does. I don't care what anybody tells me. That hoe knows what the fuck she doing. She knows, just like she knows how to go and hop on the next player, whether it's baseball, basketball, football. Hell, she has yet to dip into golf. But how she knows to go and find herself a millionaire to hop on when she needs money. She knows how to play her game when she's in some deep water. She knows to go and get baptized. She knows to go and make sure she does some charity work and make sure that she's doing it in an all black neighborhood, which like she did with that laundromat thing. Let me go and go to the neighborhood with all black people and pay for their laundry and say I'm doing something good for the community because they're black. And so nobody can think that I have any colorism within myself because they're black and I'm helping them out. She knows what the hell she's doing. She came back a few seasons ago saying that she was sanctified and she's not the same. And we find out still that she's the same. That girl is not stupid, but I see right through you, bitch. I do. And until you own up to the stuff that you have done, until you behave like somebody who deserves respect, you're not going to get one. And while I'm watching this show and you keep trying to gaslight me and play me like I'm done, act like you the motherfucking victim, bitch, I'm going to cuss your ass out. You are a disgrace. For me, while I watch this show, you really are. I don't know if they feel like we can't go back on Prime, whatever the case is, or Amazon, and actually download season 8 and season 7 to see what the hell she was doing the whole time. We're just going to pretend it didn't happen and go watch season 9 and say, oh, you know what? Everything we saw didn't happen. What kind of nonsense is this? VH1 got me fucked up. That's how I feel. Now we have Kristen telling everybody that she feels like Jen didn't believe in colorism in the group. Of course, Jen doesn't believe in colorism in the group. Hell, Jackie don't believe in colorism in the group, even though Jackie did it to her daughter. Y'all remember when Laura Govan was on the show and Shawnee wasn't on that season and Jackie was there. Laura was going out her way to get Jackie back for all the things that she felt Jackie did to her in the season that she had came back when she fought with Malaysia physically and they were not aggressive. They were all on the same stage together, okay? Then in that little meeting, Laura went behind Jackie's back and met with Jackie's daughter, the one that wrote the book, and Jackie's daughter's sister, the one that wrote the book, her sister, the lighter one, and Doug's daughter. And she came there, and that girl said in front of Laura that when Jackie was growing up with her daughter, the darker complected one, she didn't think she was pretty. She thought she was too big. She wanted to make her work out all the time. When they would take pictures, she would put her in the back because she was embarrassed by her. And she felt like her daughter being lighter or was lighter, all these other things, and she mistreated her. That was acts of colorism by way of how Jackie treated her daughter. Now, Jackie may not have meant to do it. She may have thought in her head that she was just doing it to help her daughter because how society is. But it was colorism regardless of how you spin it. In addition to that, Jennifer is brown, but Jennifer also has European features. She has thin eyes, she has long nose, she doesn't have the stereotypical features that they attribute to to Africans or blacks in general. So Jennifer being who she is and her being what they would consider the pretty standard of brown skin, she probably has not experienced things to the extent that OG has. It is very hard for a blind person to explain to somebody who's never been blind what it's like to be blind. You will never know because it's not an experience that you may have had. So for Jen to say, no, I don't think it's in this group, I understand her saying that because when she came back, she was allowed to sit on the stage. Jen was allowed to sit on the stage after Malaysia tried to throw a table at her, okay, because she was in fear for her life. Malaysia was sitting right there next to the person. Jen was sitting right there next to the person who tried to throw a table at her because she double sorted her. But OG was in the other room with her boyfriend because they're afraid of her. Now, some dumbass in my comment, this guy named Goku needs to go ahead and Kamehameha his ass down to season 13 or Universe 19 and stay off my damn channel because he comes here all the time and says something very ignorant and then he wants to get my attention. He's a fucking troll. But he came here and said something like, well, OG attacked Phoebe. They showed a screenshot, a snippet of OG and trying to get to Phoebe because they had an argument. They didn't show us the entirety of what happened. They just showed her moving, right? We did not see OG touch Phoebe in any way, shape, or form. We saw Shawnee try to get in the way, and Shawnee said that OG had pushed her because your ass got in the way of me trying to get to my target, bitch, you're gonna get pushed. But I did not see OG physically hit somebody or attack somebody or whatever. And for whatever reason, I feel like VH1, there's something Phoebe did or said they didn't want to get aired. So they removed most clip, because you know they're cut and pasting this. They removed that clip and just showed the clip of OG looking like she was gonna go after Phoebe. I want to know the content behind that, because y'all don't have a problem showing Evelyn going after Cece with a damn bamboo stick. You don't have a problem showing Evelyn jumping over a table, throwing glasses at Jennifer, trying to get to Dominique. You don't have a problem with Evelyn and Tammy physically fighting. You don't have a problem with Tammy and Mika physically fighting. You don't have a problem with Evelyn trying to attack Royce with Jen sitting next to her. You don't have a problem with the situation with Susie. You don't have a problem with Gloria fighting. You don't have a problem airing Malaysia and Laura fighting. Why did you not air that scene if you want us to think that she was aggressive? Let's see what that situation was. You know what I think there's something there that they don't want us to see, because they've been cutting and pasting this bullshit to try to get us to think what we want to think. They didn't show us the entire conversation with Kristen because it's a show, and they made it seem like OG was the one going crazy. We just saw the clip on her Instagram. Thank God she posted that, because then we can go back and check on it, because they were trying to play her ass for a fool. Then we have Malaysia deciding that she now wants to talk to Jackie, because she now found out from Kristen that Jackie defended her decision to throw a table at somebody and said that, oh, everybody has done the same to everybody, is no different. I need these heifers to stop having selective memory, or trying to, I feel like they're at the point where they're borderline insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It's not working. You're not convincing us, the viewers, that you're asked to do something wrong. You're now wanting to talk to Jackie for now siding with you on your bad decision, because you feel like if she sides with you, you didn't do something wrong. The fact of the matter is, Malaysia did throw a table at Jennifer, and Malaysia did physically fight Laura. Y'all remember? She 1-2'd her in the face. But the thing is, Malaysia was not considered aggressive, and Malaysia was not removed from the stage even after that physical fight that we saw on TV. Malaysia was not removed off the stage even after she threw a table at Jen. Jen then claimed the whole, oh, Malaysia is, I'm scared for her. She actually threw a table at me. Oh my God, in Amsterdam, for all places. Let's just move her to a different stage. They all stood there together and spoke and interacted with each other, and everything was fine. Season 7, y'all were okay having OG on the stand to interact with the guests to defend herself. Season 8, y'all booted her off the stage with the aggressive label, but y'all have Malaysia's table throwing ass sitting right there. Malaysia decides that because Jackie defended her and her stupidity, she's gonna go and now want to make amends with Jackie. Jackie ain't stupid, because I don't trust her ass in this situation either. Jackie knows that Kristen is a motor mouth, and that Kristen was gonna go and run her mouth and tell her version of what she understood, her ignorant self, to the group, to make the group feel even more convicted and a conviction in themselves that they're not doing anything stupid. They don't have any colorism with them themselves. They're not doing it. It's not favoritism. There's no featureism. There's nothing. Jackie knew that Kristen was going to regurgitate the conversation. So Jackie put a bug in Kristen's ear to take back to Malaysia, to go and say, hey, Malaysia defended you when we're trying to have this conversation, and make OG think that what she was feeling and what she was seeing and how she was dealing, how they were treating her was not, somebody said, oh, it's just favoritism. It's not favoritism. Favoritism to me are everything else that they did. They ignored all the antics that Evelyn did. They ignored all the antics that Malaysia did. I understand that in the sense of that's favoritism. What I'm saying is, when it comes to how production handled OG, they are now deliberately cutting and pasting parts of what was shown to mold our minds into thinking something that we saw didn't happen. They're gaslighting you to make OG look like she's just this crazy, rowdy person. That, to me, is not favoritism. It is deliberate. Y'all see this show's about to get it's about to get cut off the air. And y'all are playing us for fools, number one. Number two, production allowed Shawnee and the group to bully that girl off the stage, saying that she was on the grounds that she was aggressive. While online, you had her and Evelyn going at it, and Evelyn telling her that she looked like a damn monkey. That is not favoritism. That is colorism. You don't have to like me. Hell, there are parents who play favorites with their kids, where they give one kid something, whatever, but are they going to send the kid that is not their favorite outside? Like, that's insane to me, how you can comprehend that it's okay in your head and that minimize this shit is not cool. The difference is, somebody who has experienced colorism or racism they can pinpoint it because they've experienced it. Somebody who has cancer, who has had cancer before, can tell when somebody is experiencing cancer symptoms because they've had it before. Somebody who hasn't experienced it or had a little bit of a privileged lifestyle because of their complexion, Evelyn, Shawnee, they're not able to comprehend it. But you have a right as an adult to go and educate your damn self. If you choose not to, then fuck you. Don't come to me and actually try to make me feel like what I'm feeling and what I experience is crazy. OG said what I experienced, not what I feel. Because if she explained what she would feel, we saw her crying in this episode and breaking down that strong exterior that she has has a kink in it. She feels pain just like everybody else. And y'all made her feel like she was just somebody that you can just throw away like trash because of how she looked, and said that she was too aggressive because she spoke her mind, and she didn't let you hit Cece over the head with a bamboo stick. And she has she can speak for herself and defend herself. Not to mention, Evelyn, she embarrassed the fuck out your ass when you try to pull this BS on her about your ex, saying that your ex Chad would never want her. She made you look like a damn fool. And you, instead of accepting the fact that you just lost, you accept defeat, you decided to go on and say, oh, she's too aggressive. Oh, she's too this. Oh, she's too that. Let's just put her over there and pretend I said that there's something wrong with her. It's unfair when she's also seen everything that you guys have done that are wrong, that have not been handled in the same way as she's been handled. It's not favoritism. It's also colorism. Favoritism would be, okay, well, it's okay, she's my friend, I'll just let her do this and let you go. But y'all put her in a different state and told everybody that she was aggressive. And it's not true. I'm watching OG talk, and she's able to interact with all these other people. She ain't attacking nobody. Like, I don't understand what people's issue is with this girl to where they think it's okay for her to be treated this way. It's wrong. Then we have Nia and Noria, the new girls I was talking about, show up. And they discuss how they lost their father during COVID. And Jennifer is obviously feeling it because she lost her mother during COVID. So she's crying about it. And then Jackie says something so ignorant. I'm thinking that because this girl's father passed away, I want them to put into perspective and understand that we're sisterhoods. And then so we can be sisters and move on. In order for me to be my sisters in real life, if I tell them that they did something to me, they at least have the respect for me to own up to it, take accountability for it, so we can know that there's an error and we can know not to repeat it, we can move forward. They don't sit in front of me and try to gaslight me and make it seem like what I'm saying is just out of the, all I'm saying is just I'm losing my mind. They don't sit there and continuously keep saying it to make me feel like I'm going crazy. That is a real sisterhood, Jackie. Don't use this reason as a reason to just act dumb. They're not one and the same. Their father passing away of COVID is a tragic event. I feel for them. May he rest in peace. But what OG is going through, these don't correlate. Don't tell me, oh, we need to put things into perspective. Even if she did put things into perspective, their other group, why is production not having Evelyn, Shani, and all of them discuss this to the extent that they're trying to make OG discuss this? Why are they having these girls go in front of her face and have her keep repeating herself in different ways so they can pick apart the story and decide what's right or wrong? If you go to somebody and you're asking them questions about the same issue, you don't need to. She already told you what the problem is. Either you figure it out or you don't. But y'all are over there keep making her repeat herself to make it seem you want to poke holes at it. That's what you want to do. I'm not going to tell the story of how I experienced something the same way every time. That's insane to me, why you're doing that. But that's what Jackie said, and I didn't go for it. Then we had Evelyn calling Jackie, like I said, calling the girl who called her daughter a builder whore. I thought she said, don't be talking about my daughter. Don't be talking about my daughter. I just can't believe somebody talk about my daughter. But now she's FaceTiming the person who talked about her daughter. But she's mad at the other girl who talked about her daughter. I'm confused. You're okay with one who talked about your daughter to your face, but you're not okay with another one who's told you that they talked about your daughter, but you know her longer. Child, you don't make no damn sense. Shut the fuck up. You just wanted somebody to bully on the show. You wanted somebody to make you look like you bad and you hard, or I ain't scared of you, all that stuff. Evelyn always singles out the person that she thinks is the weak link. With OG, she got the wrong one. And when she realized that she was losing and she felt some type of way, oh my gosh, this girl sitting up here making me feel like, I'm not as big and bad as I think I am. And on top of that, my ex-husband was attracted to that. No, she looked like a damn monkey. She's aggressive. She's this. She ain't cute. I'm not dealing with that bullshit. Then we have OG over there cooking for the entire group. And I'm thinking nobody who's wicked in their mind is going to be sitting there cooking for entire people. I'll be damned. Cooking Nigerian food for all you Nigerians and non-Nigerians. Some of the food that we make takes us an hour and a half, sometimes 2, depending on what we're making. And it's several steps to it. I would be damned if I go out of my way to cook for somebody and I don't have a good spirit. It takes a long time to cook those damn food. You have to have patience and you have to care about the people to do it, okay? So for OG be sitting here cooking this Nigerian authentic food for people, that girl is not mean to her core. I don't care what anybody says. She has not done everything I feel like is correct in the way that she's handled herself, but to the extent that she's had to endure this bullshit and VH1 is now playing her like she's the fool. They invited her to come on this show because she has a contract to fulfill, but now you're cutting and pasting pieces to make it seem like we're losing our mind and what she's experiencing is fraudulent, but here she is cooking for people. I can't stand. Like, it's very irritating, and I feel like I have high blood pressure watching that shit. Then we have Evelyn She called Jackie. She wanted to pretend to be Doug, saying that she's out there eating that pussy. And Jackie, of course, she knows it ain't real, but she wants to make a big deal about it for a little bit. They just said, listen, Doug ain't gonna cheat on you. Let's move on. Nia, Noria, Jackie, and Jen are now eating in OG's kitchen and talking about, eating the Nigerian food, enjoying it. Jackie brings up Jennifer calling Kristen, and Jennifer now says something so stupid. I thought it was noble for Kristen to come and try to talk to OG. Bitch, why? Do you understand the definition of nobility? Because I don't think your ass do. Because if you understood that definition, you would not attribute it to Kristen in the first place. Because Kristen really doesn't have much to do with this entire ordeal. Yes, Kristen has behaved in a way that sparks some internal, I wouldn't say internal racism, but internal colorism behavior, because technically if the light-skinned group are the ones that are popular and they find me attractive, but even though I have brown European features, I'm going to stick with them even when they're doing something wrong. That comes off as not just favoritism or I don't like OG. It comes off as in you're choosing the side that you feel you're beneficial for you. And if light skin is the right skin, then go for it. That part, I'm not really sticking on to because I think Kristen is just dumb in general. I don't really think that she even knows what the hell she's doing half the time, because for her to get up and now go to OG, I feel like she has a right to now ask OG about her feelings. I didn't understand that concept. You are the last person that needs to be speaking to OG about any of this. The issue that she had, and the main person that did this to her is production, Evelyn and Shawnee. Those are the three culprits in this dynamic. You're the extra bitch, so you need to go over there and be extra and have no purpose and be useless like your part is in this entire franchise, and just stick to it. Then we had Nia and Nora, who are new cast members, looking at OG and hearing what OG is saying about her experience and acknowledging it. How is it that two new people are here and able to understand what OG is explaining, but everybody else that have been part of the franchise don't seem to understand what she's saying? You know how I know it's bullshit? Because of that. They had two new people who haven't been here to be part of this clique. They have two new people who haven't experienced the clique that Shawnee and Evelyn, they have been. You bring two brand new, fresh-minded people and they hear what OG has to say and they say, this ain't right. Because when we have experienced it, we know what it means. Now, OG does tell us something that she says that, I know that Dineva says something like OG's carrying on some of the stuff from her past, and that's what's making her think this. There's truth to it and there's not truth to it. The truth part is she does have some painful memories of colorism and racism from her past, as I do. But because she's had those experiences, she's able to recognize it when it's happening to her, as I am. Does that mean I'm carrying the pain of it? No. In OG's case, she cried about it because in general, I think everything is starting to hit her. I'm on this show. I really didn't do nothing to these damn girls. I have a strong personality. They don't even have to like me, but I haven't done anything to the extent of why these people are treating me the way they are treating me. I'm telling them that what you have done and how you treated me in the last season, it was wrong. There was some colorism behind it. Y'all are treating me like the dark-skinned outcast. When I had a teacher at 1 year in first grade telling me that I'm not going to amount to anything. Hell, I don't know what that teacher was about because my mama would jump that person single-handedly. But I know that I had people tell me, when I told them that I was Nigerian, they tell me things like, well, do you take a dump outside? Do you live in a hut? Do you guys even have trees? And I said in my last review, in my previous reviews, that somebody actually told me that they would never be with me because I'm African. And because I'm African, that means I had AIDS. I had somebody say that to me face to face. You're African, do you have AIDS? I've had all those ignorant things said to me. So, and also I've walked into grocery stores and I'm handing the person a bank card, a debit card, and the person is telling me we accept EBT. And I'm like, congratulations, are you going to take the card or not? So I've had, or I have a master's in mathematics, and I've gone into one of my classes, and it's like the person who sees me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to come, I need some help. My voice, the way that I speak, I don't know if they're able to tell that I'm Black on the other line. When I show up, you always see that second of like this split second of shock, and then they try to remove the shock from their face, like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect that this face will come with the person who's sitting here with the master's in mathematics wanted to talk to me. Like you recognize it because you have experienced it. OG experienced this within this cast group. The least they could do is say, you know what? We were unaware that we did this. In our minds, we just thought that it's because we just didn't like you, right? But because we understand, because we've done our research and we see how these behaviors attribute to certain things that are ingrained in our mindsets, let's try to do better. We're, with everything going on, with the Black Lives Matter protests going on, with all the movement that's going on, this is a time in our life where there's a lot of changes going to happen. Why not us take advantage of it and try to do better? What we're not going to do is try to pretend like you're losing your mind. But I think that she got overwhelmed. She's now having to talk about this shit over and over again. It feels like they're making her feel like there's something wrong with her for feeling the way that she feels, or for thinking, or for saying this is what I experienced. They're trying to make it seem like she's losing her mind. She broke down and she started crying about her experiences because it brought her back to her past. Like, y'all are making it seem like I'm the one that's wrong, and I'm not. Then Jackie takes the girls to the other lady's house to go and meet the girls. Malaysia instinctively acts like a damn fool and a damn child, saying that she instinctively makes Jackie uncomfortable. You cut the tension with a knife. Jackie's sitting there, Nia's sitting there, Noria's sitting there, and they're all looking at each other like with some dead silence. Malaysia goes, let's just squash the bullshit. Let's go outside and talk. We grown. Now you're grown, bitch. Before you weren't grown. Malaysia says, you know, the problem is Jackie went to Instagram and talked to a complete stranger. And after talking to that person, she decided that she's going to run with that rumor. Bitch, wasn't Kristen the person who was friends with this heifer? The person who started the rumor in the first place? But Kristen is your relative, so you cool with her. I just feel like you want somebody to blame for your issues. And you're carrying this along like it was that deep. But she ain't that deep. You could have just had a conversation with Jackie and called it and kept it pushing. You chose because you wanted to have a fucking storyline to be on this show. So you got to have beef with somebody. Same thing with Shawnee and everybody on this franchise. They always have to have a beef with somebody. And that's why they just keep up this pizzazz. I do not believe that Evelyn thought that one day all the shit that she has done will come to a head, that her karma will not catch up to her, and somebody wouldn't start holding her accountable for the way that she behaves and things that she said. I think that to her, she's still in shock that this is happening to her, and she's thinking that she's still the damn victim. She always the damn victim. All the men that leave her is always their fault. It ain't her. All the men that just sleep with her, use her, and leave her is always their fault. It ain't her. All the men that cheat on her, she ain't got nothing to do with it. It's always their fault. All the men that allegedly beat her is, you know, she was just out there bystander. And, you know, it ain't her. Like, I'm not saying it's okay for a man to beat a woman. Let's not be stupid now. Okay, I'm just saying this particular individual has been through several issues that are just seem to be one problem after another, and she's the common denominator of all of it, but hell, nothing is ever her damn fault. That logic doesn't make sense to me as a mathematician. It's not sound, okay? Anyway, that's my review on this. Thank you guys for your comments and your support. Those of you who commented, my husband, I showed it to him because he was nervous. He said he was anxious for coming out to this video, and he wasn't sure if you guys would even, you know, he was kind of, I was like, baby, there's nobody there on the other side. It's just a camera. He said, I know, but people are going to see this. I've never met them. He was nervous, but your comments help or boost his ego. Hopefully not too much. But he was very happy to see that you guys were welcoming and you guys didn't talk shit except for you little trolls. I had to cuss out last my video. If you think my husband is cute, my husband is handsome, and he's a decent person and we're a cute couple, thank you very much. I love the compliment. If you think otherwise, fuck you. Bye.